I'm Ron James. I'm here with Dame Dash. This is another edition of No Lines, the new show where Dame and I talk about it. Dame, thanks for being here, man.
I like the way you said no lines.
No Lines. It's
What's
a
that
cool
mean?
name, man. It's got a lot of entendres to it. I just put out the video that you and I had a conversation pre-election about how there was no way Hillary Clinton was going to lose, and the Republicans were boring, and Trump was an idiot. And now, look what we got. Let's talk about Trump.
We got more boring Republican than Trump's still might be an idiot. Nah, I mean, I think, I think what was underestimated was that where things feel like it's the rest of the world, like LA, New York, New Jersey, like where I'm at,
Right.
Those states actually won. And the mentality's a little different. I just spent a lot of time in North Carolina, and I would go to the store, to the movies, and I'd be in a line with someone with a Confederate flag, and they're walking around with a gun, and their mentality was completely different. And I think what I learned from this was that, that mentality overall in between those states that people are a little more evolved, or at least, look at things a little different, outnumbers our perspective. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost like if I think I'm selling a lot of records because I'm in New York and everybody's loving the record in New York, but you go everywhere else in between New York and LA and nobody's playing the record, because you're in New York, you feel like that's probably reflective of the rest of the country. You know what I'm saying? But also, I'm not saying he cheated, but everything it seems like he said about other people, he kind of did himself. So like when he told me or told everyone the election is rigged, then I'm gonna be thinking it's still rigged. Why it's not rigged? Because he won? You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just something that you would think. But overall, I don't think he's a Republican at all. I don't think he acts like a Republican. When I met him and spent time with him, and I said, my ex-wife used to hang out with his ex-wife, and we used to be up in the house, go to tennis open together. I never saw him to be somewhat of a racist or Republican or anything like that. I think
Republicans aren't racists.
No, but he was looked at as a racist. You understand what I'm saying?
Through the election?
Yeah, I think so. The things he was saying about Mexicans and Muslims and things, I think it invoked a lot of racist emotion. I know the Ku Klux Klan supported him, and they've been very open about how happy they are he's been winning. I think a lot of racist people have been partying. You know what I'm saying? I think they've been real happy about the shift of power. But I think it's going to be a lot of angry white people in 4 years. I think that's what's going to happen. But I got to give him his props. He did it. He pulled it off. And I'm not mad at him. But, I am mad at some of the things he said and the way he might have gotten there. But if an entrepreneur, certain entrepreneurs, it's like by any means necessary. They got to do what they got to do. So I think that's how he approached it.
Well, it came out later that during the whole election cycle, they had a top secret facility in Texas where they were using state-of-the-art social media, everything else. They were beating the pants off the Clinton campaign in how they were working the internet, working the web, working the social media.
And the fact that they
nobody knew they were doing it.
They put out a lot of lies. I mean, people knew it, but they didn't know probably how intense and strategic they were about it. But, a lot of this, the propaganda that had been promoted would get the most hits. And, I honestly, I was rocking with Hillary because I'm a Democrat, and only because I'm more worried about the bigger picture. The tax bracket that I'm in when I pay taxes is probably Republicans. It would be more advantageous for me. But, I always think I'm gonna be all right, because I don't care who the president is. When Reagan was the president, it didn't, stop or anything. It had no effect on me personally. When Obama was the president, when Clinton was the president, when Bush was the president, it's never affected me. I'm not dependent on the government for anything. As a matter of fact, in my world, in my house, my life, I'm the president. You know what I'm saying? Me and my first lady run the country. You know what I'm saying? And I don't even care who's the president. If you walk in my house, you're gonna abide by my rules. You know what I'm saying? I'm the boss in my house. I'm the boss in my world. So, in general, I think, people are worried about politics because some people are dependent on the government. For people that are dependent on the government, it matters. But I wouldn't suggest ever being dependent on another man or anyone for yourself if you're an adult anyway.
Well, I think that Trump won by keying in on a lot of mass anger. And a lot of people that are disenfranchised by government and pissed off at the system and just looking for somebody to be pissed off at. And he won by igniting that segment of the population. There's 300 million people.
He didn't win the popular vote.
No, Hillary won the popular vote.
Yeah, so that's another thing. He didn't win the popular vote. So it's like, it's kind of weird. It's always been weird. Every time.
Well, this whole electoral system, it sucks. It's totally, it needs to be a popular vote count all the way across the board.
Every time a Republican wins, they don't win the popular vote. You know what I'm saying? This happened before.
Yeah, when George Bush won, Al Gore won the popular vote.
And again, with all that shit, you know what affected me? 9/11, and I don't think if Bush was there, that would have happened. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just kind of worried about if there is something that's going to happen that's beyond my control. It'll be like, you know, some buildings getting cracked or a war or something like that. But overall, like, it doesn't really matter, man. Like, I just don't think that everything he said, like, again, Trump has been known to change his mind like that, right? To say something and say something else the same day. I mean, so why wouldn't he do the same thing to everyone that believed in what he said? He might flip-flop right then and there. That's what he does. And
well, he's going to have to, because there's a lot of stuff that he's talking about that he's just not going to be allowed to do.
Yeah, and he's unapologetic about it. You know what I'm saying? He does what he needs to do. He says what he has to say. He doesn't even care. And, you know, what it told me that if Donald Trump can win, then I can win at anything. You know, that's how I looked at it. You know, and I'm not the kind of person that's going to sit there and cry over spilt milk. It's like, whatever, let's move on. I'm not going to be worried about what he said he's going to do. Now I'm only going to be worried about when he does something. You know what I'm saying? So when he does officially fuck up, then I'll officially have something to say about, you know, him and the things that he's doing. But until then, I'm not going to sit around and worry about what he said he's going to do, because he might not do it. And I don't like to get worried over people's thought process or what they say. You know, I only kind of react to action. You know what I'm saying?
You know, a lot of people are saying that Trump getting elected is actually inflaming racial tensions more than they were. And I don't really understand the reason for that. I don't understand why it would happen. I think that the illusion that he's coming from even a remotely racist standpoint is just politics and talk. And it seems almost like there's an agenda to ignite racial tensions. And it's not Trump or the Clintons or the presidential election that's behind it. What do you think of that?
I just don't listen to it. You know, not to sound selfish, but I can only speak on my experience and, you know, whatever action is in front of me or whatever action I do. I haven't personally seen it. I haven't personally been worried about it. You know, I'm very aware of the news, you know, because you get so many updates on your phone these days. Like, I'm more aware than I've ever been. And I've never cared about who got elected in the transition or who got picked to put in what position. I never cared about any of that stuff. Like, when Obama became the president, the only big deal was that he made, you know, Clinton the Secretary of State. But everything in between, I could care less about, you know? So, you know, the thing about Trump is he's made us all very aware and scrutinizing every little thing that's going on, and he's very entertaining. But again, I'm almost sick of talking about it. You know what I'm saying? It's like we talked about, I don't like talking about another man so much or saying another man's name out my mouth so much. I want to talk about Dash if I'm going to talk about a man. And what's invoking, you know, I want my actions to help the world. And I've done that before. Like, when I get a platform, I make sure, you know, if I'm going to say something, it's to evolve our culture or people that are like-minded. But, like, to sit around and worry about a dude all day, it's just not me, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's never been. So what people say, I don't listen to it. You know, I have my own opinions about things. If I see something that's better for the bigger picture, then I'm going to ride with that, even if it's not beneficial to me. But, like, all along, I've never really been so mad at Trump. I always thought he was hilarious. Like, me and Rocky would look at all the debates. Like, I never looked at a Republican debate ever in the primaries.
Right.
But I would go home to watch those just to see him make a fool out of the Bushes. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was funny that he was manhandling all those Republicans. The one thing I do like about Trump that's really entertaining is every single person from the Republican Party that said something bad about him, he's publicly made them kiss the ring. From Mitt Romney to Jeff Christie, to Ted Cruz, they've all came back and kissed his ring. And what it tells me is that as a Republican, they only rocking with the winner, and they'll say and do whatever they got to do to get there. But whatever, man. You know, if it's better to be in a certain tax bracket, then that's the tax bracket I'm gonna stay in. I'm gonna just do it. You know what I'm saying? So I thought it was easy in the Obama administration to be broke. He made it a little easier for you. It's not. It may not be so easy. It may be more advantageous to make some bread so that you could get the tax breaks and everything else that comes with it. But I'm not going to sit around ever and wait for somebody to control my destiny or wait for them to give me something. I never cared about healthcare, even though, you know, it's relevant and it's important to make sure, because I have healthcare, like Rocky made sure we got insurance, and, you know, now that I'm a diabetic, so I always need that. But other than that, you know, it's like the press makes you care about issues that you would not really care about, other than if they're not just saying it all day and making a big deal out of it. You understand what I'm saying?
I think a lot of people are not going to be thrilled with the idea of completely scrapping Obamacare. It's benefited a lot of people. Well, the people I mean, you're in a situation where that's not affecting you, so you don't care. But there's millions of people that care. They're talking about the changes that they're talking about and the reforms they're talking about are really going to put insurance back in the dark ages for a lot of people.
Right.
And so, you know, that's kind of a dangerous position. You can't instill something as a law of the land, let people get used to it, and then just jump in with a new administration.
So what you gonna do until it happens?
Just wait. That's
so
all
then
you
just
can
wait,
do.
man. Because what if you're talking a bunch of, like, what if you put a lot of energy into something, being scared about something that just never happens? And I generally think human nature is to worry about things that don't happen. And if they're not gonna happen, don't worry about it too much because you're gonna manifest it. Like, my thing is this: if I'm scared about the way people give me shit, then I'm gonna put myself in a position not to be given nothing. I just want to take it. I'd rather pay for it, you know? And maybe that should be, I think that's the American way. It's supposed to be about being an independent, right? We're an independent country, right? That's what we celebrate one day out the year. I celebrate that every day of the year.
Do you think that 8 years under the Democratic Party has made a lot of people soft and dependent? Has it contributed to that mindset in America?
I'm not thinking about that. I think it made it where, you know, there was hip hop in the White House. I like seeing that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah,
I like seeing a black president with swag. I like seeing a president that was current on things that were relevant to me, you know. But again, I know Trump better than I know Obama. I met Obama once. I told you, I know Trump. You know what I'm saying? I haven't seen him in a while, but it's almost like I could say I've been to a president's house. You know what I'm saying?
That's
for real.
Cool.
I done helped them the baby there. You know, I done. You know, so to me, it's just.
Well, you get invited to the White House, you know, you have to bring me along.
I'm not going. I don't think I'm gonna get invited to it's a better chance of me being at someone's personal apartment than somewhere where you have to look and be squeaky clean.
Right.
To be at, like, I'm never gonna say that I'm squeaky clean, and I know that if you ever looked under the hood of my past, there's a lot of things that would be questionable to the average. You know what I'm saying? So any place that I have to be judged on any level to get into, I just stay away from. You know, I like to keep myself in environments where I'm the judge and the jury, and, you know, I'm the one that can, you know, if I'm mad or if I'm going to scrutinize something that I did, I'm all right with it. But I hate when other people scrutinize me. They don't know why I do what I do. You know what I'm saying? It's the reason why I'm not good with corporate. It's the reason why I'm not good with boards. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I look to buy a crib and it's a place where it's a co-op, I'm not going, because I don't want to have to kiss somebody's ass to move into a building and I'm paying for it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not that guy. But if I get to the White House, I'll let you know.
Yeah, that's great, man. I appreciate that.
I think the major thing that people have said is there needs to be somewhat of a change. I would have rather seen Bernie run against Trump, and I think Bernie represents change as well. And I thought that would have been like the best debates. And I think then probably, because the only people that really supported Clinton were like black people. You know what I'm saying? We're the only ones that really looked out. White women voted for Trump, right? White men voted for Trump, but black men and women, he got the black vote, but not all of it. It wasn't as, you know, because I'm not gonna lie, I was like, I definitely want to see a black president, you know, and a lot of people wanted to see that regardless of how good or bad, you know, Obama was. But it just seemed like white people just wanted a change, period. You know what I'm saying? White people did this. That's
you think? No, I think
white people did this.
I think pissed off people did it.
And
I think a lot more people of color and
but they didn't vote for Trump.
Of Mexican ethnicity.
They didn't vote for Trump.
A lot of them did.
Yeah,
he
but
got a lot
if you
of
look at the
vote.
stats, the only people that held down Clinton were people of color. You know, but how we lost Pennsylvania? How you lose Florida?
You lost that shit by a huge margin. The Democrats lost Florida and Pennsylvania by a big margin, and that's a very racially diverse set of states.
Yeah, but if you look at who voted, it was white people. It was
so you think obviously he ignited people to come out to the polls way more than Clinton did. So you think that Trump won because Clinton's base wasn't motivated enough to come out there and support her?
I think he won because white people were sick of black people controlling the White House. And I think they just wanted to change. That's what I think. You know what I'm saying? And not to say all white people, but white people. See, Vegas won, LA was Democratic, New York won, New Jersey won, you know. But in between that, all those, like I said, when I would go to North Carolina, it was definitely a different mentality.